Okay, we're live. Hello, everybody. Hello. It's Thursday, December 4th. It's noontime. Hope everyone's doing well, particularly those of you who are on the East Coast. It's winter has arrived, in case you worry about global warming. And those of you in the Midwest, like Chicago, the snow, the ice, the cold, and it's only going to get colder. So, anyway, it's a good time to talk about topics like CME. So, I was thinking of this topic in part. RSNA just finished, and next week I'm going to one of the annual meetings that are held in Florida on imaging, CT/MR ultrasound. Really that I spoke to for more than the last 2 decades. So that's very exciting. But one of the things I think all of us note is the number of CME meetings has really dropped. It used to be you could not get by a day without a brochure in the mail. Now you get a brochure every year. There's a few things in the mail, but it's very minimal. There's a few things online in terms of signing up, or people email you, but it's not what it was. We started doing CME courses in person in 1985, so this would have been our 41st year or 40th year in Orlando, but COVID came. We did our February meeting in Orlando, and then we were going in June to Nashville. Nashville never happened because COVID hit in March, and we never restarted the meetings. A lot has changed. We could say expenses for meetings have gone up. Hotels charge more, particularly on food and beverage, which makes it harder to break even. If you look, the CME charges, what companies charge, has gone up in part because they're trying to either make money or at least break even. And then the most critical thing happened, which is that in the old days there'd be radiology groups of 3 to 10 radiologists. A key thing of your package was time off for CME and money to pay for CME. Now, most contracts define the number of days you work. So the rest, you're on vacation, you're off. So for you to go to a meeting, your meeting is on your off time. So you have to think about it and say, well, am I going to go to a meeting which is my vacation? I don't want to do it. The other thing is, groups in the old days, because of taxes and everything, were very generous in how they gave you money for CME. So you went to nice hotels and nice places. That explains why meetings were never held in Holiday Inns or Motel 6s, but in nice hotels. But now, with groups expanding from a few radiologists to literally thousands of radiologists, you take a company like RadNet or Rad Partners. If you gave everybody money for a meeting, it would be a lot of money. And also, if you have thousands of radiologists in your group, it's a lot cheaper to have your own CME internally so people can get the credits. People still need their 50 credits, but you can do it internally, or you can do it from societies. Every society, RSNA, ACR, Rankin Ray, and the GI, GU, CHEST, all the societies have CME that you can do online for a relative minimal amount of money. So now all of a sudden, the reason you had to go to a meeting was to get the credit is over. The fact that you had 20 days of meeting time a year, which was very typical of 25, is over. The fact that you had 10 or 15,000 CME dollars is over. So what happens next? I think, you could learn a lot online. We do apps for the Apple Store. We do Facebook, which we're on now. We do Instagram. We do YouTube. We do the website. There's a lot you can learn, because we could put thousands and thousands of cases on and thousands of lectures, both of which we do. And so it is a tremendous resource. But I think one important thing that we tend to forget is kind of that human touch. There's something being in a room with a bunch of strangers or some people we know, all of you having a common experience, listening to lectures, asking questions, talking to others during the coffee break, meeting other people, and just being part of something. CME becomes an event. It becomes an educational experience, but it's beyond just looking at images or just reading text. It's something, it's interactive, it's immersive. And I think it also is very refreshing. You speak to people, you see what they're doing. All of a sudden, you learn a lot of the radiology, but a lot beyond radiology. You can talk about groups and what the group is doing and what you're doing or not doing with AI, or what you're doing with mammography or virtual colon, or you name the topic. There is something about being at a meeting. When I'm at the meeting next week, I'll speak to people I know and speak to people I don't know. I'll listen to lectures and learn a lot, even on topics which I know a lot about. And surely on topics I don't know a lot about, it'll be interesting to listen, even if I don't do that in clinical practice. I don't do ultrasound, but I do listen to the lectures on ultrasound and see where ultrasound is, where it's going, and what people are doing with it. It's good to know. And when you're in a meeting, you feel like you're 8 to 5, you're committed. So let's say it's 30-minute lectures, you're going to listen to, 15 lectures in a day. You will learn a lot. You will be impacted. You will be energized. And I think CME in person is very important. I know it's going against the grain, and I know all the reasons, financial or time off. I think what groups need to do, as groups are competitive, perhaps they should say, take a step back. Hey, our group is unique. We pay for you to go to 2 CME meetings a year, and we pay for those meetings. We want you to keep learning. We want you to keep growing. We want you to feel comfortable and expand. We are committed to your development and for you being the best that you can be. That may go a long way, because otherwise you're arguing, how many dollars am I paying for RVU or per hour? I think people would like to know that they have time, there's education, and that continuing education is part of their job. And I think the only way a company could make it part of your job is to give you the time and to pay for it. It's kind of going backwards, right? That's what we always did, but we're not doing now. And maybe it's not going to happen because the finances are not there, but it's something at least to think about. Eric Becker spoke last night here talking about companies that have been successful for more than 100 years, and he talked about culture. I think if you want to have people be successful, if you want to be able to recruit, if you want to be able to retain, you got to think about creating culture, and a culture of excellence, and a culture of education, and a culture of producing very smart, very engaged people is very important. So hopefully I'll see you at the NDIS meeting next week in Orlando, and have a great day, and I'll be speaking to you next week from Orlando. Have a great day, everybody.